And today we're reacting to how to beat every death trap in Saw 1, 2, and 3. This video is not going to be the full duration of an hour 48 minutes. I'm only going to do what I like and what I feel like doing, and then it's going to cut off. If y'all like this video a lot, make sure you like the video and I will do a part 2 to this one. Y'all like the purge one? Let's see if y'all like this one. Let's get into it. Let's do it.
If you had to survive 23 of Jigsaw's deadliest traps, what would you do? From reverse bear traps to needle pits, nerve gas, and everything in between. You've never seen more creative ways to die.
I'm gonna drop all my battery too, don't worry.
Get ready to take a dive into one of the most twisted horror franchises of all time. Because we're here to break down the mistakes made, what you should do, and how to beat all of the death traps in Saw Part 1, 2, and 3. These ungrateful victims...
Let's get it. I remember this one. I remember this one. This is number 1, right? When they woke up in the bathroom.
Are about to have a whole new appreciation for what it means to be alive. From the moment that he wakes up at the bottom of a tub in some dark and dingy looking bathroom, it's pretty obvious to Adam here that he's in just a little bit of trouble. As he scrambles to get his bearings, another voice starts speaking to him from out of the darkness. This is Dr. Lawrence Gordon.
How do you end up in this? What do you do wrong to end up in a bathtub in a dirty ass bathroom in some mysterious water? How do you end up in this situation, in this circumstance?
New roommate for the next 8 hours. And he's just as confused about where they are as Adam is. They've both been chained to rusty pipes on opposite sides of a bathroom that seems like it could give you Ebola from just looking at it. But somehow that's not even the worst part, because lying on the floor in the center of the room is a dead body. And he's holding a cassette player and a revolver. They're only 2 clues.
Oh, is a revolver? Yes! Yes! I'm happy when I see that. How to beat every death trap in Saw 1, 2, and 3. And we're not watching the full hour, by the way. If I see that revolver, I'm too happy. I'm be like, oh, there's a gun in here, bro. Let me see that. Wow. Ain't nothing for me to deal with. Over with quick. Let me see that. Oh, let me see, bro. There's a bullet in there. Okay, word. Boom. And it's over. Ain't nothing to think about.
So far. Adam here does the only logical thing that you can do in a situation like this and starts to absolutely lose his shit. But it isn't long before he realizes that it's not getting him anywhere and decides to start pulling on the chain.
Come on,
instead.
man. You thought that was going to work?
That strategy doesn't work out either. So Lawrence suggests trying to remember how they got there, but neither one of them can recall a single detail about the attack. Looking around the room, he quickly notices that there's only one thing not covered in filth. A brand new clock up on the wall, so whoever did this clearly wants them to know the time. While Lawrence tries the door, Adam checks his pocket.
Are you even trying that if you're in this situation, yanking on a chain and pushing on a door? Well, you know what? Hell yeah, I'm trying that. I'm definitely trying that. Because maybe the chain, something's loose. Yeah, I'm tripping.
And that's when he makes a
second Saw or Squid Game.
He's been given an envelope with his name on it, containing a small cassette tape that says, "Play Me." Lawrence got an envelope too, but his is even more interesting. Because besides just a tape, there's also a single 357 Magnum cartridge and a small key hidden inside. They try the key first, but it doesn't seem to work on any of their locks, causing Adam to chunk it down to the floor in a fit of gamer rage. Instead, he decides to go for the tape recorder being held by the dead guy, and although it's sitting far out of his reach, he's able to pull it over after several attempts by using his shirt and the bathtub plug to
there you go.
In. Adam plays his tape first, but instead of answers, all that he hears is some crazy guy with a creepy voice roasting him for his poor life decisions. Tensions are already high, but things get even worse when they listen to Lawrence's tape. The same voice wants him to kill Adam before 6 o'clock. Otherwise, his wife Allison and daughter Diana will die instead.
Oh yeah, it's over. I'm sorry, bro. Damn. See, the thing is though, my family would have died anyway because I wouldn't even have got to know that happened. Actually, no, because I would have tried to look for some answers before okay, is this really the last way out? This is it? Yeah. Yeah, not the family. Once the family start, okay, now I gotta start playing by the rules, man.
Dead. They're given one more clue. X marks the spot. And with that, the voice says that the time for their game has begun.
Okay, man, talk about a rude wake-up call. On one end, we've got Lawrence, who's calm, collected, and trying to keep things under control. And then there's Adam, who decided to take the immediately start screaming like a 6-year-old girl approach. I'm not gonna lie, I'd be freaking out
The
too,
hell?
but it seems like there are a few
Who the hell is this?
1 second and think things through. First things first, we need to start by carefully checking every inch of the room that we can for any hidden tools or clues that might help us escape, especially the X marking the spot that Jigsaw mentioned at the end of Lawrence's tape. It'd be better to work together with the other guy for now, since we're both in the same situation, but we don't want to get too comfortable either, because there might be a time when things take a turn for the worse and we need to make some tough decisions. Plus, for all that either of them knows right now, the guy standing across from you could be the one that brought you in there in the first place. So we need to be
I ain't even think about that. Yeah, once I have them thoughts, he might actually get shot right then.
careful who to trust. After getting our bearings, the next step is to start attacking the problems one at a time in an organized and strategic way. Before we can go anywhere, we'll need to get out of the chains first. But instead of focusing on the chains themselves, I would pay more attention to the locks and rusty pipes that
what's
they're
going on?
attached to. Those types of padlocks can be easily broken just by applying enough force.
Word?
So I'd look
Damn. Imagine that's all you had to do was hit the damn lock with a hammer. Bro, because remind you, buddy cut his
around
leg off for
anything
this.
nearby that I could use as an improvised tool, and try to either smash them open the old-fashioned way or pick the lock if we wanted to try that approach. Now, my guy Lawrence here is great at coming up with ideas when he's busy bossing Adam around. But where's that same brain power when it comes to himself? There's an obvious solution staring at him right in the face here. If Adam could reach the tape player, then why doesn't Lawrence try to reach the revolver next? I would try to tear
Oh, is that not what happens?
some of those thinner pipes off of the wall behind him to give him some extra reach. Or just taking the same approach as Adam and using some of my clothes or belt tied together, which should work fine, especially if I find something heavy nearby to add some weight to it. If he could get his hands on that weapon, then that
Then
would
he could shoot himself. Oh, my fault. On in GTA.
open up all kinds of possibilities. He could shoot out the lock or just kill Adam and call it a day.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I ain't gonna lie. Oh, so all I have to do is that? Yo, bro, say your prayers now, bro. Say your prayers now. I'm sorry I gotta do this. Say your prayers now, brother. Sorry. But yeah, I'm doing it to him. He will get, you know what I'm saying? Now, it's up to him if he wants to shield his head or his body or not. But you feel me? I'm gonna hit him. Like, hey, we can make this easy, or I'm gonna hit you somewhere. You're gonna bleed out in here, bro. Sorry.
Might be better to leave him alive for now, just in case he needs a meat shield later on. In the meantime, I'd also take turns.
I'd probably take his life probably like 30 minutes before the time was up.
Shouting for help as loud as we could. It might seem silly, yeah, but it literally couldn't hurt to try. On the bright side, at least they have 8 whole hours to figure it out, which is way more than some of Jigsaw's other victims are going to get. So, when you look at it that way, they're actually kind of lucky for how this game was set up.
The situation in the room is awkward to say the least, but Lawrence here noticed something about his tape that makes him think twice. Playing it back, he's able to make out the words, "Follow your heart," whispered quietly at the end of the message. And sure enough, there's a heart traced right there on the front of the toilet tank. It's up to Adam to reach on in there and start searching. But after digging around for a minute in the most disgusting water imaginable, these two geniuses suddenly realize that they might want to check underneath the lid. There we go. A black trash bag containing 2 rusty hacksaws.
Hey, that's a tough one. Now, I'm not doing this. Would y'all rather slice y'all whole ankle off or just take your life? I know you get to live with it, but it's Like, endure the pain. No morphine, no nothing to just you right now. You right now in your life, in your situation, like healthy body, able-bodied, no, not medicated, nothing. Slice your joint off and endure the pain of you. Or just boom, blam.
Not exactly what you'd call a Christmas present, but at least they're getting somewhere. Their first instinct is to start working away at their chains.
I don't think anybody can do that
Too
either.
weak to make even a scratch in the thick metal, no matter how hard they try. Adam here goes so hard that he ends up completely breaking his.
Stupid
and
ass.
chunks it across the room.
Adam need to calm, bro. His emotions, bro. You need to learn how to control your emotions, dude. You've been yelling and screaming and throwing stuff since we got in here. Can you please?
Where it shatters off a corner of the mirror.
Oh,
As
there
for
we go.
Lawrence, he decides that he better
can
stop
slit our
before he
wrists.
breaks his saw too. And that's when he suddenly understands the terrifying truth. The saws weren't meant for them to cut through the chain at all. No. They were meant for cutting off their own feet. Putting the pieces together, he realizes that they must have been taken hostage by a notorious criminal who's still on the loose. And he knows this because Lawrence himself was once a suspect in the case. 5 months ago, a team of detectives began to uncover a series of grisly death traps, including one where a man was forced to crawl through a maze of barbed wire
my God.
and killed in the process. At every
Jesus Christ. Yo, that one. That's crazy, bro. Yo, damn.
crime scene, they'd always find the same two things: a cassette tape with a message for the victim and a jigsaw puzzle piece cut out of their
I'm telling you, I'm not doing that.
Although the news started calling him the Jigsaw Killer, the truth is that he's never technically killed anybody. Instead, he forces his victims to play by the rules of his deadly games, offering them a slim chance to survive if they somehow complete the
Stop
challenge
showing me that.
as a way to teach them a new appreciation for their wasted lives.
Okay. This guy is seriously like the worst therapist ever. I mean, I get the point that he's trying to make, but there's got to be a better way to teach people a lesson than
This
forcing them
guy's
to compete
pissing me
in the
off.
most complicated death traps that the world has ever seen. Am I right or am I right? Anyway, Lawrence here just made an absolutely terrifying observation. He seems to think that the hacksaws were meant for them to cut off their own feet. And while I can see how this would technically get them out of their current predicament, I can't say that it's definitely the best idea for several reasons. Going through with something like that already sounds bad enough, but the reality of
The bone, too. Like, that joint's so rusty, you can't even get through the bone.
the situation would be worse than I think any of us could even imagine. Besides the obvious, excruciating pain that you're going to be facing, severe blood loss, and the risk of even going into shock, you might not think that losing a foot would seem all that bad compared to spending the rest of your life in this horrific-ass Ebola dungeon. Your feet actually contain several major arteries, which means
you
that
done ruined
you could
your
bleed
shit.
out in minutes if you were able to actually get all the way through. The rapid blood loss and extreme pain could also cause you to go into shock and
over.
lose consciousness, which is the last thing that you would want to happen when every second means the difference between life and death. Follow me. Hypothetically, if they were going to try it, there are some strategies that Lawrence and Adam could use to increase their chances of survival. They're going to want to choose a spot as close to the ankle as possible, since the bones there are thinner and easier to
Oh, wow. See, I ain't know that. See, how you get all these information and this knowledge, bro? I would have been starting all like, okay, well, let me try not to do it right there.
cut through. God damn, just thinking about it. Before starting, it would be
You know what he could do? Nah, because you got to get the ankle, because the ankle can't slip out of that little...
crucial
okay.
to apply a tourniquet as tightly as possible.
So where you gonna get
just
that
above
from?
The cut point to minimize the blood flow.
Where you gonna get a
Using
tourniquet
shirt or
from?
belt should
Oh.
do the trick. The key would be to try and do it as quickly as possible. You know, like ripping off a Band-Aid, except 100,000 times worse. Once it was all said and done, they'd need to immediately apply pressure
Kai,
to the
what
wound
up?
and get medical attention as fast as they possibly can, since even if they were lucky to survive the first 5 minutes, they'd still only have about 2 hours at the most before things really started to go downhill. Trust me, I've been watching this movie on DVD since 2004. I've thought about it a lot, you know? With that being said, going footless definitely isn't the best strategy. Instead, I'd try something obvious that they're both overlooking, and just use that saw on the locks or the rusty pipe.
They just tried that, man. They've been trying that. Buddy broke his joint, And that little rusty, you think that rusty ass saw is gonna cut through this dirty ass, grimy ass, feces covered pipe? You think that was gonna work? Look at how big this is. It's not.
Those should both be much easier to get through than the thick steel chain.
That's what I'm saying, Astral Dior fan.
From Adam's broken saw could be used to try and pick the locks or somehow pry them open. We also can't let all of this craziness distract us from keeping an eye on the other guy in the room. If Lawrence had been paying attention, then he would have noticed that Adam here clearly found something else besides just the 2 hacksaws in the bag, and deliberately hid it from him in the bathtub where he can't see. Whether
What type of... Oh, nah, yeah. Once I found that out, oh, it's over with. Call you Astral? Oh, okay, I got you. That once I found that out, it was over with. You were hiding stuff from me, bro? Bro, pass me... let me get this revolver for you. I got a big bullet waiting on you, bro.
You fucking bitch!
There's no way.
To call him out on it right away or not is a different story, but you need to be...
Oh, I value life, but... Bro, it's just... I value life, bro, but I'm not, like... I don't value enough to be playing your games, bro. I'm not... That's the thing. I'm not afraid of death. Mulay, thank you for that sword! I'm not, like... I value life, but I also, you know, I know that there's a better place, though. You know what I'm saying? I can't... The anxiety, you know? I gotta get... I'ma just go meet the Lord, bro. You feel me?
Paying enough attention to notice something like that if you're going to make it out of here in one piece.
At some point during their investigation, the detectives come across another test chamber. This one built for an insurance scammer named Mark. As a way to teach him a lesson, Jigsaw poisoned...
Damn, it's like... For insurance scam, bro? Why you ain't getting preds? And, you know what I'm saying? There's people that really deserve this. Insurance scam? He deserved the glass covered ground with the fire and the, what's that, wax on his body? He deserved that? For insurance?
the man and brought him to a basement where he'd stashed the only antidote in a locked safe at the center of the room. His only chance for survival was to find the combination hidden somewhere in the hundreds of numbers painted all over the walls. But every inch of the floor was covered in broken glass, and Mark himself had been covered in a flammable liquid, making his only source of light, a small candle with an open flame, also his greatest danger. Needless to say, Mark here didn't make it, but the crime scene gave the detectives some interesting leads. For one, a peephole cut out of the wall told them that Jigsaw here likes to watch his games play out live and in person.
Somebody
but what was even more interesting was the pen that they found belonging to none other than our good old buddy Dr. Lawrence Gordon. Lawrence himself was busy giving some interns the rundown on his patient John Kramer, who was there receiving treatment for an inoperable brain tumor, when he was called over to the intercom to come to his office right away. To his surprise,
everybody in here for a petty ass reason. I remember one guy refused to treat Jigsaw at the hospital and he got kidnapped the next day.
He found city detectives David Tapp and
I'm not doing this for Lemuel. Hell no. Hell no!
And Stephen Singh already there waiting for him, and they immediately started grilling him about his alibi from the night before. Although he wasn't exactly innocent himself, Lawrence knew that he hadn't committed any crimes. But when the detectives showed him that they found his pen at the latest Jigsaw scene, he had no choice but to follow them down to the station for questioning. Without saying too much, Lawrence admitted to his lawyer that it couldn't have been him, because the truth is that he was seeing someone that night who he didn't want his wife finding out about. The lawyer suggested that he might as well have come clean, and after confirming his alibi, Lawrence was cleared of any suspicion for the time. But before he could leave, the detectives wanted him to listen to the story of a Jigsaw survivor who they'd just brought in, saying that it might help him remember any leads. In the next room over, they brought in a young woman named Amanda, the only person to have survived a Jigsaw trap so far. Nervous, she began to recall a story of how she was taken in by the maniac, and woke up restrained to a chair with a horrifying contraption already strapped to her face.
How you survived this? I'm surprised he even lets you go if you beat it. Jigsaw seemed like the type of person, you beat it, and he just kill your ass anyway.
After struggling for a moment without any luck, a television on the other side of the room suddenly turned on.
Oh yeah, and once I saw this, I'm freaking out. Once this pops up on the screen, I'm freaking out. I'm tweaking. I'm not hearing nothing he's saying. I'm just praying.
showing a video of a sinister-looking puppet that Jigsaw used to explain the rules of her game. He called this one the reverse bear trap, and when the timer ran out, the device would split Amanda's head in half from her jaw.
Oh, that looked fast and painless. Split it in half. Wait, never mind. Her head just kind of popped, so I was kind of hoping maybe that should be
killing
it.
her instantly. Her
Oh, yeah.
only hope of escape was to find the key hidden in the stomach of a dead body in the corner of the room. As
Oh.
soon as she stood up, the timer on Amanda's mask activated, leaving her with only 60 seconds to complete the challenge or die trying. Panicking, she grabbed a scalpel from the floor, only to
Oh, I can do this. This is easy. He already dead too.
realized that the dead man was very much still alive.
Oh, damn.
Just paralyzed with medication. But by then, it was already too late, and she had no choice but to cut the key out of his stomach, killing the man in the process. Luckily for her, at least, Amanda was able to unlock the device and save herself just in time, receiving a congratulations from the puppet, who rode in on a
God.
squeaky old tricycle, for having what it took to survive. The craziest part of all is that Amanda here was actually grateful to Jigsaw for what happened, saying that he helped her kick the addiction that would have eventually gotten her if
Thanking Jigsaw. Jigsaw actually helped me kick my drug addiction from after that horrible thing that he put me through. I was able to, I bet there's a lot of things you can't do. I wouldn't even be able to speak to people after that. I wouldn't trust nobody. You feel me? Ain't nothing, we can't talk about nothing to talk about.
she hadn't quit.
Okay, this chick is seriously f***ed up, but I've got to give her some credit. She did the damn thing.
Thank
and
you,
made
Jigsaw.
it out with her face still intact, which is more than any of Jigsaw's other victims can say so far. We're going to be seeing a lot more of Amanda here in later parts of the story, but for now, this gives us a great opportunity to point out something important. Thanks to Amanda, we've just had a first-hand demonstration on the #1 rule for surviving Jigsaw's death traps. The key here is to never under any circumstances start flailing around and freaking out
She's
before
doing
you had
it.
a chance to carefully get a grasp of the entire situation. In this case, the timer on Amanda's trap wasn't activated until she stood up out of her chair and pulled the pin. Now,
Facts.
if she'd realized this before the timer was actually started, then it
Facts.
would have given her the option of examining the entire setup and trying to figure out a way to beat it without ever even activating the trap in the first place. After getting
But that low-key, she got she really got blessed though, because there's a video demonstration and telling you exactly what to do. He just threw them two niggas in there in a bathroom with two saws, some videotapes, and left a little cryptic message at the end talking about, follow your heart. You know what I'm saying? I would have thought, it's in the. I thought for a second, the keys are in the dead man's heart until it's on the ground. You know what I'm
her
saying?
hands free, she could have spent some time investigating the device itself and seeing if there was some way that she could damage, deactivate, or jam one of its crucial components, like the trigger
Feel me,
pin,
Lucy?
timer, or the clasps holding it onto her head. Jigsaw is a pretty smart guy, so odds are good that there won't be any obvious weaknesses in the design for her to exploit. But giving yourself the time to at least try is much better than starting the timer and only having 60 seconds to figure it out before your head explodes. Plus, she could always just sit right there in that spot for the next 3 days or so before she eventually dies of dehydration, and just hope that some help happens to come her way before she has to handle the situation on her own. Once the timer started, she really
You wake up with a band mask on? Yeah, you gonna tweet.
didn't have any other options besides following through with the rules of the game the way that Jigsaw had set it up. That'd be easy enough if it really was just a dead body that you had to deal with, but realizing that the guy was alive completely
I'd be like, close your eyes, bro.
changed everything. And it may have not been the most
Act
ethical
dead.
decision, but you've got to at least respect the fact that Amanda did what she had to do. Now it's off to the needle pit with her. I'm looking at you, Saul Part 2. But as for Lawrence and Adam, they
Jesus,
still
a needle pit? Yo, nah. How do you wake up in that? Nah.
got a long way to go.
Hearing all of this from Lawrence makes Adam kind of paranoid, but when he grabs a piece of broken glass to threaten him, he notices
Threaten? Bro, this is too erratic, bro. Now you threatening me with glass? Bro, I'm about to smoke you and end this easy. You making it too easy. You can't put a nigga like me in no circumstance like this, bro. You done threatened me. You hiding stuff from me, bro.
Something
it's over.
strange. One side of the glass is see-through, meaning that it's actually a one-way mirror, and after smashing the rest of it with some junk that he finds on the floor, they realize that someone has been watching them on a camera all along. Taking everything in, the two of them finally begin to understand that every part of this nightmare was precisely calculated in advance by Jigsaw. Adam questions how
I
the
see why you
doctor
in
can stay so
here.
composed when his wife and daughter could be in danger, but he says that protecting them is exactly why he's so determined to escape. To prove that he's telling the truth, Lawrence throws him his wallet full of pictures of his family, but as he's looking through them, Adam
Pass me
here
my wallet
makes a
back.
disturbing discovery. Hidden inside is a photo of Allison and Diana all tied up, with regards from Jigsaw himself. On the reverse side is another message, reading, "Sometimes you
Marks the spot. Sometimes you see more with your eyes shut.
see more with your eyes shut." Throwing the
See,
wallet
he
back over
cheating.
to Lawrence, he decides to keep the picture a secret for now while he's
Oh my god, I'm sick of this nigga, bro. Damn. Oh my god. Yo, this nigga, bro. He was making this too easy, bro. What's that picture of my family you hiding in there, bro? I'm thinking he took a picture of my family and put it in his pocket.
tries to figure out what the message could mean. On the night before, Lawrence left home for what he said was a late night work call, but that was his biggest mistake. As soon as he was gone, someone kidnapped his wife and daughter, and now the man has them both tied up in their own apartment. But when he gets up to check outside of the window, he has no idea that there's someone else watching them from across the street, who Jigsaw doesn't even know about. After finishing up with Lawrence, Detective Tapp spent the rest of the night watching Amanda's tape over and over again until he finally found what he was looking for. For one brief shot, he could make out a
We're watching How to Beat Every Death Trap in Saw. We're only gonna do the Saw 1 today, and then we're gonna do and then I might do the other one another day.
particular graffiti tag on the wall behind the puppet, as well as the faint sound of a fire alarm going off somewhere in the background. This allowed Tapp and his partner Singh to narrow the location down to an abandoned mannequin factory across town. So they set off to the location to see if they can find any leads, never suspecting that they were about to walk right
Facts.
into a death trap. With Tapp leading the way, the two detectives broke into the abandoned factory and were able to quickly find Jigsaw's makeshift workshop hidden up on the second floor of the building. Besides what they saw on the tape, the place was full of tiny models of Jigsaw's recent traps. But that's when they realized that they weren't alone.
Hey!
Pulling
Oh yeah, that blanket would have been got shot. That blanket would have been got
back
shot.
one of the sheets, they were shocked to find this whole-ass
No!
guy hidden under there, strapped to some sort of contraption with two
Ooh, he about
power
lucky
drills
as hell.
pointed straight at his neck, when all of a sudden they heard the elevator coming up. And in walked
that?
Jigsaw himself,
Shoot!
just as
Start
the
shooting.
detectives took cover behind some nearby construction materials. From their hiding spot in the corner of the room, the detectives watched as Jigsaw approached the man in the trap,
Shoot this
springing out
nigga,
to
man.
confront him when they thought that he'd
Oh,
let
yeah,
his
there we
guard
go.
down. But before they could even react, Jigsaw kicked a button on the floor and activated the device, throwing the whole situation into complete chaos. Forced
Man, I ain't gonna lie. We gonna have to tell buddy, hey man, try to figure this out. One of us gotta go get Jigsaw. Somebody gotta stop this, bro. I'm gonna go get Jigsaw, bro. You try to stop this weird contraption thing, bro. You feel me?
to make a choice between going after him or saving the victim, Singh jumped into action trying to deactivate the trap.
Shoot
while
that nigga.
Tapp held Jigsaw at gunpoint. With
Shoot
only
him.
seconds left before
Oh,
the man
man.
would be killed, Singh quickly drew his weapon and shot out the drills, saving his
Oh, there we
life.
go.
But while
There we
Tapp
go.
was distracted, Jigsaw busted out a
Hey! What? Big ass Assassin's Creed knife?
Assassin's Creed blade and slit his throat with
Oh,
one quick move,
shit!
disappearing deeper into the factory before
Damn!
Singh could catch him. Somehow, Tapp here
What the fuck? Damn! Hey! Jigsaw gotta be the most prepared nigga in the world. Nigga said, slink. Slice the nigga in his neck. Damn!
managed to survive the attack. and handed Singh the shotty, telling him to go after Jigsaw instead.
Facts. Don't worry about me. I'm dead already.
Tunnels below the building where
Boy,
death
don't
would be
get
waiting
caught.
for him around any corner. In one of the hallways, Singh drew down on Jigsaw and fired a blast straight
Boom!
into his back,
Yeah.
dropping him to the floor.
Let's go get him. That now at this point it's just walk down. Just walk the man down. Give him one more to the back of his skull, bruh. He slit Buddy's throat upstairs.
As he moved in to investigate, he accidentally
Oh
activated
my
a
God.
tripwire that automatically fired several shotguns down at him from above.
Oh!
By the time that Tap could get to him, Jigsaw had already
Damn! Hey, what type of nigga is this? Bro, imagine that home security at home, bro, at your spot. Nigga a tripwire. You look down, you like, what the fuck? You look up and there's four big ass shotguns aiming down at your head. Boom. It was such a gruesome death, they didn't even show it. And how was this man alive falling down the stairs with his throat slit?
escaped, his body armor having saved him from the fatal shot, leaving Tap here completely.
Hey, this nigga dangerous, bro. Let him go. At this point, this nigga dangerous. He got something for everybody. He had a tripwire waiting for this nigga.
Obsessed with finding the madman
Baited him.
and
He baited
stopping
him.
him once and for all.
Okay, well, fellas, I gotta say that I don't think that could have gone any worse if you tried. It's almost like that you forgot that you were going after the most deranged, calculating criminal genius that you've ever encountered in your entire
Yeah, but nobody's expecting that, though. I wouldn't expect that.
careers, and you just decided to treat it like your first day on the job instead. Knowing his MO, you would have thought that they would have been just a little bit more careful about their approach, but now we've got...
Yeah, they ain't called backup or nothing. Now that I think about it, I would have been on the radio real quick. Tim Fort. Oh, let me not say that. I don't know what that means.
one detective down,
We would have been
Jigsaw's still on the
called
loose,
down.
and there's really only one person to blame for this entire debacle. Detective Tap, you, sir, have majorly f***ed up. All right, bud, since you're clearly struggling here, let me sit you down for a little Jigsaw 101.
Tap.
This guy loves his
Tap
craft,
got his
clearly.
slit.
So if you're going after him in his own workshop, it might be a good idea to expect
Shotguns
the
hooked up on the
unexpected.
ceiling.
Just a suggestion. Honestly, you two are even lucky enough that you made it through the front door without being killed, considering you just kicked it in without even checking. But I guess that luck doesn't hold up forever now, huh? As a matter of fact, let's talk about my boy Singh for a minute, because what just happened to him was wrong. So wrong. On so many levels. Tap here may have f***ed up, but poor Singh was the one who
Singh caught a 12 gauge double barrel shotgun to the top of his fucking noggin, bro.
really got done dirty. You want to know what
Boom!
this guy's plans for the night were? He was heading down to the bar with his buddies from work to get a beer and a burger and then going home to be with his wife and kids.
Damn
But
it.
Instead, he got roped into an illegal search by this Jigsaw
Oh yeah, facts. They ain't had no warrant for that.
maniac and ended up paying the ultimate price. At least he was being more careful, but even that still wasn't enough. And I guess that's just the risk
Ooh,
you
he
take
got
when you're
phased,
dealing
too.
with a guy who isn't a killer, but set up a vertical shotgun booby trap for anyone who tries to trespass in his workshop. Seriously, 4 shotguns on a tripwire, but he's not a killer? Yeah, okay. Here I was thinking that Jigsaw's victims were only supposed to be bad people. Singh here did absolutely nothing to deserve this, besides just doing his job. And he didn't even get any warning or anything. Just straight up taken out in the most horrific way imaginable, so that his
Boom.
family can't even give him a nice funeral. That's just diabolical, Jigsaw, even for you. And as for Tap, don't think I forgot about you. What? Did you forget?
Bro, that's what I said, Token. I said the same thing. This would have been
Get
over
your
with.
handcuffs at home or something? First of all, you jumped out at the worst possible time, and by waiting until he was right next to the hostage, you gave him the perfect opportunity to pull one of the classic Jigsaw tricks. Your partner Singh did his part and saved a
Yeah,
man's life.
shout out
even
Singh.
though you
Oh, and so that guy up there that who thought he was about to escape, don't even get to escape. He was that close. He thought he was about to escape. You already know Jigsaw came back and punished him even more for just the thought of thinking that he was about to
were
make it
the
out.
one who dragged him into this death trap in the first place. But even then, you still couldn't keep up your own end of the deal.
R.I.P.
All that you
Singh,
had to
man.
do was cuff him, and it would have
Yeah,
been
oh
face
yeah. Oh my God. Just like police officers do. Put your hands behind your back. Now, he still would have sliced you with that blade, but at least he would have got somebody would have went. But at least you would have got
But you literally just sat there dumbfounded until you got straight up Ezio'd with the hidden blade. Assassin's Creed reference. And all I can say to that is, damn. I guess Jigsaw had that throat slash precisely lined up to leave Tap over there looking like he's clinging to your life, but not actually in danger of dying.
The Tap, he survived that?
You know, since he's definitely not a killer.
Alex, what up, bro?
The worst part about this whole disgrace was that they could have ended Jigsaw's entire career right here and now if they just made better decisions. With some backup, proper gear, and a solid plan, this could have gone in a completely different direction. But Tap, being in such a rush, led them to blowing it when they had their best chance of stopping him yet. And his partner was the one who ended up having to suffer the consequences.
Tap survived? Nah, Tap gonna have to he's gonna have to like do some time for this, bro. Something's gotta happen.
You're a bad detective, Tap. Go home. But you're an even worse friend, and that is why you f***ed up.
Tensions continue to escalate.
Oh my God, not these
niggas. Lawrence
niggas.
is getting more and more frustrated with Adam's cagey behavior. But something that the doctor says suddenly gives him an idea. Adam here tells his roommate to try turning off the lights, and that's when they realize that X has been right behind him the whole time, marked on the wall with glow-in-the-dark paint. Using the handle of his saw, Lawrence busts out the section of the wall and finds a small metal box hidden inside. It's locked, of course, but they're able to open
the key, nigga.
Using the
The
key
one you
threw.
threw.
Way back in the beginning, and inside they find several
Bro, he's been hiding stuff from you, bro. Don't let him know what's in there.
interesting items. There's a cell phone, a lighter, 2 cigarettes, and a note addressed to Lawrence, reminding him that there's more than one way.
Cigarettes are harmless. I promise smoking is only poisonous when it ends in bloodshed. Think about this. You don't need a gun to kill Adam. What's that mean?
To kill his opponent.
I want that nigga for the rest of
His
eternity.
first instinct is to try to call the cops, but he quickly realizes that
What
the
up,
phone
young
is
Al?
only set up for receiving calls, not placing them. The sound of the busy signal suddenly triggers a memory of how he had been trying to leave a shady-looking parking garage the night before, only to be violently attacked and kidnapped by a figure wearing a red
my
cloak
God.
and a pig's head mask. Which
Boy, I would have tweaked if I would have saw that. Yo, I would have been tweaking. I'm getting in my car, and you telling me what? A pig? Man, oh, nah, I'd have been tripping.
finally explains how he ended up here. Getting suspicious, Lawrence demands to know how Adam here came up with the idea to turn off the lights, and after arguing about it for a minute, he finally decides to show him the picture that he found in his wallet. The doctor is completely heartbroken by what he sees, but this doesn't change the fact that his only way to save them is to finish the game, and now that he has proof that they're really in danger, he's starting to consider all of his options, including taking Adam out. Thinking it over, he remembers that the dead man in the room with them supposedly had poison in his blood and secretly dips one of the cigarettes into it while Adam here is distracted.
There we go.
For a moment, it seems like he's planning on killing the man to win his own freedom, but he's not actually ready to turn on him just yet. Instead, he shuts off the lights so that Jigsaw can't see them and quietly fills Adam in on the plan, telling him to play along. Turning the lights back on, he tosses Adam the safe cigarette, and he immediately starts pretending to choke on the poison in hopes of tricking Jigsaw. It's an Oscar-worthy performance, but the kidnapper calls their bluff by shocking Adam with a jolt of electricity.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah. So you tried tricking me, nigga? Oh, man.
Through the shackle around his ankle, proving that he's actually still alive.
They tried it. Hey, I like that, though. They tried it.
To escape, Lawrence goes back to
so then he started tweaking again?
madly sawing at the chain, but it's no use, and he tosses
tried
the
that
saw
already,
away
bro.
out of frustration. At the same time, the jolt of electricity must have jogged Adam's memory, because now he says that he can remember how he ended up there. On the same night that Lawrence was taken, Adam here was back at his rundown.
Yo, Jesus Christ, Adam. What type of job do you have? How much is rent in your city that the fact that you gotta live like this? Damn, you living tough, boy. This not even Section 8. You not even a hood with a you in I don't know who's living like this though. You can't have nobody over. Your own mama wouldn't want to come over here.
Here was back at his rundown apartment developing secret photos of the doctor himself, and fell asleep at his desk only to wake up in pitch darkness with the power seeming like it'd been cut. Just then, he heard what sounded like someone else in the apartment with him and started using the flash from his camera to look for the source of the noise. As he made his way into the kitchen, he was jump scared by Jigsaw's puppet sitting in one of the chairs and gave the little creep a much needed beat down with a baseball bat, but he wasn't safe yet. Hearing a noise from the closet, he slowly pulled open the door using a key.
Why would he not just leave? Whenever he saw weird activity going on in his house, why would he not just back up to the door and leave?
Camera flash to light up the inside, and that's when the same
pigman
attacker jumped out of the shadows.
Oh, and he ain't got no squabble because the pigman even had no weapon. He has 2 hands. The pigman got him with his 2 bare hands,
knocking him out and dragging him off to play the game.
Oh, man.
Okay, I swear. The more that I find out about these people, the dumber that I realize that they are. This could be up there in the How to Beat Hall of Shame for one of the most easily avoidable abductions that
That's an uppercut right there.
And when you look at how bad the consequences were for this screw up, it only makes it so much worse.
What up, Tops?
Adam, my boy, old buddy, old pal. I'm just gonna say something here that might sound crazy to you, but I really want you to listen up and hear me out. If you think that there's an intruder hiding in your closet when you have a clear shot to the fucking front door,
that's what I'm saying.
It's not like you had a wife and kids in the next room that you had to protect. The door was right there. So what the hell are we even doing still standing around in your
He over here clearing his crib
kitchen in the dark? The instant that I saw that Jigsaw puppet sitting on my couch, I would have been happy.
I don't know. Oh yeah. I'd have been like, okay. Kaimani, thank you for the sub, gang. Once I saw that, I'd be like, okay. Bet.
On the planet like Barry Allen so fast that the kidnapper would not have even been sure if anyone ever lived there to begin with. There's this little thing called fight or flight response that's been keeping us alive for millions of years, but it doesn't seem like you got either one. And
I hate this nigga, bro. I don't like him,
in the
bro.
same universe as a guy like Jigsaw, after all. At the very least, he could have bunkered up somewhere in a defensible position and used some furniture to block himself in. Then all he would have had to do is yell for help and start swinging that bat around if they tried to get him. But even with a baseball bat and the home field advantage, he still somehow managed to lose the fight. That's just embarrassing.
Nah, Jigsaw he a beast. He's kidnapping people with his bare hands. All he is in a pig mask. He's a beast, bro. He got it. And he got the most intricate, diverse traps, bro. He's like that.
Adam here just provided a great example of exactly what not to do if you ever find yourself in a similar situation. And his survival instincts clearly haven't gotten any better since then. But maybe if he gets lucky, there's still a chance of him making it out of this bathroom alive.
With only about 25 minutes left on the clock, the phone starts to ring as Lawrence receives a
what
call
up?
from his wife and daughter. He hears Diana on the other end when he answers, who tells him that the man from her room has them, before handing the phone over to her mother. When it's Allison's turn, she tells him not to trust Adam in a way that sounds suspiciously like she's reading it from a script, but the kidnapper abruptly hangs up before he can ask any more questions. At this point, Lawrence here is officially ready to crash out, and starts demanding that Adam tells him who he really is. Finally, Adam agrees to come clean, but he's not the only one with something to hide. While his family thought that he was at work, Lawrence here was secretly at a motel having a sneaky link with...
Now imagine how painful this is. You over here stepping out, right? You left your crib at night. You feel me? Saying you was gonna do something. Left your family. Evil Udi test. Evil Udi test. Imagine the door opens and it's his wife like, so you really in this traumatizing environment? Nah, but boom, you leave, right? Just for your family to get kidnapped because you were stepping out. Ooh, boy, I know you gotta be feeling sick as a man.
His secretary. Although he and the woman didn't actually do anything, they received a mysterious phone call as he was about to leave, threatening to expose him. And Lawrence left the place in such a hurry that he didn't even notice Adam taking pictures of him as he walked back to his car.
If there's a flash, oh yeah, nah, his thing's an idiot. Imagine you would hear a loud ass camera flash with a DSLR camera take a picture. You gonna turn and be like, what the fuck? and see a man in the corner behind a pillar doing that. Oh yeah, so
that Adam here had been hired by a man named Bob to get the photos, but he swears that he doesn't know anything else about the doctor's personal life. It isn't until he starts to describe the man that Jigsaw realizes Bob is actually Detective Tap, still hell-bent on solving the Jigsaw case as a way to avenge his fallen partner.
Tap, you survived that slit to the throat, guy? You a beast.
Convinced that the doctor here had something to do with it. He's absolutely furious with Adam for essentially stalking him, but what Adam points out is that he was just capturing the truth, saying that Lawrence has no one to blame for what happened other than himself.
My nigga, bro, he is gonna get himself killed, bro, talking to me like that. Now you telling me I'm a... Oh,
bag
no.
containing the hacksaws was also full of pictures that Adam had been keeping a secret until now. But as they're looking them over, they realize that there are a couple of photos in there of Lawrence's apartment that were definitely taken by somebody else. And in one of them, they can clearly make out a man named Zepp, who works as an orderly at the hospital, standing in his bedroom window, proving that he's the one who kidnapped Allison and Diana. It's a little too late though, because that's when the clock reaches 6, and now it's time for the final part of Jigsaw's game to begin. Back at their apartment, Allison manages to get her gag loose while the kidnapper is distracted. Speaking to her daughter, she reassures the girl that everything is going to be alright, and starts working at her hand restraints in an attempt to get herself free. Just as she finally does it, Zepp here comes back into the room and forces her to call her husband one last time, never realizing that she's no longer tied up. She plays along for a moment, but the second that she sees an opportunity, Allison leaps into action and tackles Zepp to the floor, wresting his weapon away as she orders him not to move.
Why is she aiming? Nothing to aim. It's bullets. My mother would have been popping. Foul. It would have been over.
She tries to explain the situation to her husband, but as soon as she lets her guard down, Zepp jumps back up and starts trying to subdue her once again, with the two of them firing several shots into the walls of the apartment as they battle it out.
Okay, you have got to be kidding me. I seriously just can't deal with these people anymore. Let me take a deep breath before I say something that I might regret. The worst survival skills that I've ever seen. Here's an idea. If the guy who you just escaped from is inching closer and closer to you, even though you're pointing the blicky straight at his face, just take the damn shot, please. Blast this creep back to Timbuktu and do the whole world a favor before exactly what just happened ends up happening.
I be wanting to skip the bald man, but the bald man, he's teaching us what to do though.
The guy, when he didn't even have a weapon the second time around. No weapon the second time around. Like that, She even had a phone in her hand that she could have used to, I don't know, maybe call 12. It's not like Lawrence was in any position to help her, so it doesn't make any sense to waste time telling him to hold on.
Say what up.
Should be calling for help. She had the whole situation under control, but somehow, she still managed to blow it. We need to move on before I genuinely lose it, but
yeah, what happens to these
whatever
two?
happens. Good luck, idiots. You're clearly gonna need it.
The commotion across the street attracts the attention of Detective Tap, who goes charging over there with his own weapon.
Tap, bro. Tap be on go. Tap is on go, man.
The shootout. Just as Allison manages to stab Zepp in the leg with a pair of scissors,
yeah.
Tap over here knocks on the door waving the 4-4 and just starts blasting with absolutely no regard for the innocent woman and child who are caught in the crossfire. All that Lawrence can do is
Tap needs to be off the force after this.
Listen as his apartment pops off like the 4th of July, but thankfully, Allison and Diana are able to make a quick escape as Tap runs out of ammo and charges across the room.
Tap
to the floor. After a brief scuffle, Zepp manages to stun Tap with a glass vase.
Oh my God, Tap, get right, nigga!
Kill Lawrence, leaving the others safe for now.
Tap, you gotta get right. Oh my God. I feel like I'm really watching a movie with y'all right now. Tap, get right, bro. You can't eat, like, bro, you not sick of this? Getting the upper hand, somebody getting the upper hand of you every time you get into any type of scuffle, anything? Damn it.
Just then, Lawrence is struck by what seems like a lethal jolt of electricity, but it's only enough to temporarily knock him out.
Oh,
Meanwhile,
shit.
Zepp speeds over to the building with Tap in close pursuit, and the two of them start
Oh,
popping
yeah, in the
off
high
shots
speed.
at each other in the tunnels as he
Damn.
scrambles to get to the bathroom and finish the job. The phone starts to ring again as Allison tries to call to tell him that they're all right, but it's sitting just out of Lawrence's reach. And he gets so frustrated with the whole situation that he decides that it's time to do something drastic.
He does
In a
it.
frenzy, Lawrence tears off his shirt and wraps it around his leg like a
Dang.
tourniquet before laying into his own leg with the hacksaw in a desperate play to set himself free. Tap finally catches up.
Get
with
him,
the
Tap.
kidnapper
Come on.
And starts giving him a brutal beatdown.
Yeah.
But during the struggle, Zepp drops down and fires a shot behind his back, killing the detective just when he was finally about to crack the case.
Well, you telling me this nigga fell back on his last shot, hit his ass with one of these? Bow! That's how Tap got smoked. Tap, you didn't solve no case. You didn't get nobody involved. You got beat up 3 times. You got your partner killed. You ain't do nothing. You would have been Tap. You would have had so much more success if you would have called for backup. If you were even in the car calling, I got a white male in a old Buick, 1962 Buick. I'm in high pursuit right now of him. I'm chasing him. At least people would have been on the way. At least if you would have got smoked in there, niggas would have pulled up.
In the bathroom, Lawrence finally manages to saw through his entire leg before dragging himself over to the revolver.
What happened to
on the
other
floor
buddy,
and
though?
loading in his single cartridge. Even though he
Oh,
begs him
nah.
not to do it, Lawrence raises the weapon and reluctantly
got to.
fires a shot into
I have
Adam's
to.
chest,
I
killing
have
him
to.
in the hopes that Jigsaw will set his family free.
Okay, and this right here,
Damn, he don't even know that they already safe. Why he ain't just? Oh, cause he can't make no calls on the phone.
officially confirms that Lawrence is an absolute moron, the likes of which the world has never seen. He could have easily used the same saw that he just cut his own foot off with to reach the damn phone if he would have just tried even 1%.
That's more than a saw's length. That's less than a saw length away. He could have used that saw and easily scooped that. Hello? Yeah, at this point, I think this nigga was just so scared for his life.
Harder. Then he would have known that his family was safe, and all of this bloodshed could have been avoided. Instead, he just maimed himself forever, killed a guy, and still doesn't even know if his family is okay. He did have some nice form when it came to the amputation, though, and you could really see those surgeon skills coming through.
I
so
forgot
I'll
he was
give
a
him
surgeon.
credit for that at least. But brother, that was easily one of the most brain-dead decisions that I've ever seen. And
Yeah, and then even on the other dude's part, why he ain't just said, bro, just use the saw, bro. Just use the saw that you have over there to scoot the phone up closer to you.
you're about to find out that you did it all for nothing.
What Lawrence here fails to realize is that his family is already safe and sound, but as for him, he's slowly bleeding out on the floor of this disgusting bathroom. And that's when Zepp comes crashing in to finish him off. Even though he
shit.
technically killed Adam like he was told, he did it a few
Why are you coming to kill? What did I? Wait, hold on, real quick, guys, real quick. So Zepp isn't Jigsaw though. Jigsaw is somebody else, ain't it? Jigsaw is someone else, right? And so how did he get him in here?
minutes too late, which means that according to the rules of the game, he still has to die. All of a sudden, Adam here proves that he's not dead
Oh,
by
snap!
sticking Zepp's leg and brutally beating him to death
Damn!
with the lid of the toilet tank, saving both of their lives just in time. The shot only hits his shoulder, leaving him injured but still alive, and Lawrence
Hey!
falls out of the room promising to bring back help. But if they think that their game is over, then they're in for a terrifying surprise. Digging through the man's pockets, Adam finds another cassette player meant for Zepp,
What?
proving that he was only another pawn in Jigsaw's game. Remember that dead body that's been in there the whole time? It's at this moment that he suddenly gets up from the ground,
Oh, God.
peeling off the fake wound that he's been wearing
Oh!
and revealing his true identity. John Kramer, the cancer patient from Lawrence's hospital, or as he's known in the streets, the real Jigsaw. As
Oh shit! what is this movie rated? Even like this junk is fire though. Damn, bro. Hold on. So for the past 8 hours, this nigga's been laying here dead still to the point where nobody saw his chest moving, nothing. He laid there like a dead man. Perfectly still.
Adam realizes that he's just been played like a fiddle. Jigsaw tells him that the key to his chain went down the drain of the bathtub when he first woke up in it 8 hours ago. After stunning Adam with another jolt of electricity, Jigsaw turns out the lights and closes the door. leaving him to die alone in the darkness.
Oh my
It might be
God!
over for Adam, but as for John, his
Oh
games
my
are
God!
just getting started.
If you were trapped in a run-down house with no way to escape and
Oh my gosh. That being said, y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Like this video, sub up, comment up, binge watch the channel. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Great for y'all. We gone, man. ADD led dog.